Alright guys, it's Deej again, back with another video. Grab yourself a drink, grab a snack, and today we're going to take this Superliner by Dialing Woo down from Texas to Oklahoma. So we're coming just from near Texarkana. Oh no, wrong way, sorry, my bad. We'll be going up from Beaumont and up to near Texarkana. We've got the SCS logging van. Just a default freight market trailer, nothing special going on there. And then for the truck, we've got the Dialing Woo recently updated Mack Superliner. Nothing too crazy going on. I'm using the 77 model. We've got a small cab there. And then for the wheels, we just got some SCS Goodyear stuff going on. Interior, we've got some tan lining, black accents, we've got the CB radio, we've got a little Garmin there, and yeah, it shouldn't be a long trip. We've got 300 miles to drive. However, as you can see, this weather's looking pretty horrible, so it might be a bit of a slow one. We're looking at this rain. I thought it'd be pretty interesting to check that out. And we should probably turn these wipers on. So we've got that going. I've got these. This is my biggest nitpick with this truck. I've put two front mirrors on here because, as you can see, the side mirrors are extremely far away. I'm using my widescreen monitor and I can't even see the left one without turning all the way, which is a bit ridiculous, but I think that's just an issue with all of the Mack trucks. The truck, on the other hand, is pretty sweet. I've driven it a little bit. I've got a Mack E9 engine in there, 450 horsepower. Didn't want to go too crazy since it's a bit of a classic truck and normally you don't really see those with huge 600 horsepower things in it. We're using one of the 18 speed transmissions, but it's not an Eaton Fuller as far as I can tell. And yeah, before we keep talking, we'll get started. We turn parking brake off, engine's gone, we got our lights on, and we've got fuel. What else? We've got our wipers down. We should be ready to go. So, because I've fiddled with these clutch settings, it's more noticeable in some of these trucks. There we go, that's better. It's quite interesting changing from one truck to another, and you really do feel the controls change quite drastically sometimes. I've been mostly driving those John Ruder trucks recently, so there's some differences to be expected. Yeah, this depot we're leaving here is an addition to the Weyerhaeuser logging depot. This one's an addition from ATS expansion. I have decided to add that back in, as well as the cargo mod for Alaska that adds modded trailers to each of these depots. I thought there's quite a few interesting hauls you can take, but they're just not as common in the vanilla game, so I thought that was a good addition to get going. So we'll have Alaska, Canada, and ATS expansion for now. I think I'm going to stick with that for a bit. I do need to go check out Alaska one of these days, as I still haven't been up there. As I mentioned in the last video, you get some of these pretty sick dirt trails around the place, but outside of mods they're not that common. There's only a couple of logging areas as far as I can tell. And one thing I want to touch on is, since the last video I recorded, I've done a lot of tweaking of these graphics settings, as it was something I've been complaining about a bit in the last few videos now, and I do think I've gotten to a good point where I am able to cap everything out at 60 frames, and I don't actually get any frame drops now as far as I can tell. I've turned a lot of the settings that were on ultra to high, and ambient occlusion to low, and now even in the busiest parts of the game I don't actually seem to be getting any drops, which I'm quite happy about. I think I found a pretty good balance of getting the graphic fidelity as high as possible without having to worry about frame drops happening quite often, because they were quite ridiculous from the last few videos. Pardon me on the pronunciation, but this engine we're using now I believe is one of the Creechbaum ones. It is a stock engine that is included with the truck. I've had a look around. I didn't particularly want to buy a engine mod for it, and I found Slab Jerry for the Max only really has engines that are straight piped, and not that there's anything wrong with that, but I tend to have a propensity of using straight pipes often, so I didn't want to have to be using them in every video. You know, you've got to go with some variety. It's quite a good sounding engine, this one. So another thing I've tweaked a little bit around here is in terms of graphics mods, where running the Weather 3.2, and we're running the 8K version of that. We're running the PNG, it's indicating my way. We're running the PNG base file, so we're not using the PNG weather. And then what else have we got? We've got weather, PNG, oh, and yeah, the other thing you'll be able to see is I've stacked cold rain on top of that, which I think looks pretty good. I've tried realistic rain, and I think there's another one. There's cold rain, realistic rain, and there's definitely another one. I've tried all three, but I've found this is the one I've liked most so far. It actually comes with, it's one of the realistic rain doesn't come with them, it comes with realistic sounds to go with it, and because I'm not using the Z mods version or anything, I think that's quite good to have. Shift up. Could hear the engine chugging away a bit there, my bad. So I've had PNG for a while, and the base looks really nice, but without using the reshade, the sun just always looks super, I don't know how to describe it, it's really dull. Like the days don't actually look as good as they should, whereas the base for PNG I really like. So I think when you add Weather 3.2 instead of the base, you kind of get a nicer combination. I've actually been enjoying it a lot. The skyboxes tend to be a lot better than PNG. God, I can't let my foot off the clutch at all without almost stalling the... I've still got to change that setting, I haven't tweaked it yet. We're gonna stop again here. So this is going to be an interesting trip, I think, because from what I can tell, the braking ability of this truck is a lot weaker compared to the last Ruder truck I was just driving. Yeah, and with the combination of the rain, I'm finding the stopping power is very bad, so we're going to have to judge that a bit better. Come on, we're going. We're coming or we're going. Yeah, what are we? We're sitting at 60 frames now. we're in the middle of this little town that's going on here, so I think that looks pretty good. I've got my little tracker there, but you guys won't be able to see it. It's just a AMD one. It's looking pretty good. Buddy, we're going. One thing I've been noticing lately is you get almost caught in some of these towns as you're trying to get, as each light you sit at, you'll sit at a stoplight, you go, and then usually there's another stoplight about 10 meters away that will be red and you've got to stop again. I think that's my only complaint about pretty much exclusively driving manual. I mean, manual is much more enjoyable once you're going on these sorts of roads. Okay, the RPMs are pretty low. You can really tell the engine in this truck's not super powerful. I'm gonna merge here. So we're still picking up, still hitting 50 miles. We're supposed to be going 75 here. It'll take a bit to get there. I reckon by the time we hit 75, we'll be stuffing again. Just itching my face, sorry. So, there's one thing I was thinking about touching on in this video, but in regards to just gaming in general, I've come from pretty much only exclusively playing the RPGs, things like Wrath of the Righteousness, and I've played a lot of Baldur's Gate. It's probably not particularly one of my favourite ones. I've played a lot of Pillars of Eternity. I've pretty much played all the modern ones you can think of, really, and I have a habit of moving really fast in those games. I play a lot of characters. I devour as much, what would you call it? Oh, I don't know what's going on there, some sort of graphics thing. Might have to fiddle around with that. I haven't seen that happen before. Let's just ignore it for now. Yeah, so back to the topic, I have a habit of theory crafting and kind of devouring as much information as I can. When I find I'm not playing the game, I'll be figuring out builds to make and things to do and every secret item and things like that. And I think that's one thing I've come to appreciate in these games, the truck sims, is it really causes you to slow down, and you know, you drive, you follow a couple rules, you take your load from one place to another. There's not really a lot to it. I mean, you can probably hyper min-max what can you even min-max? The amount of drivers you have. You end up having so much money that you don't even know what to do with it quite quickly. So I think that's one thing I've been really appreciating as I play these games. You know, the other thing is when I can easily go a day or two without playing, and usually if I did that while I was really into another game, I'd lose interest over time and find myself quite bored of it. But that's not something I find about this. I'm always looking forward to taking that next drive. So, as I've mentioned, I don't actually drive in real life, so one of the things I'm planning to do, hopefully by the end of this month, is I should be trying to get my learner's permit. Now, I'm not in a huge rush, as I will be kind of having to borrow a car to learn completely properly. So I'll be taking away someone's car almost, but I'm sure they don't mind. But yeah, so once I do that, I'll be jumping in my Magna. It's quite an old car, and it's in good condition. like I've mentioned it before, the only thing I'm a little sad about is it is automatic, but you know, I honestly might just learn automatic and stick to that in real life for the sake of convenience. Yeah, I think it's more practical. But I would like to have the opportunity to drive manual. I might save up for my own car shortly and then, you know, get my manual license as well. I think that should be good. But yeah, prior to getting my little sim rig set up here, I had absolutely no interest in driving. So I have to be thankful. I mean, I'm almost 30 now. I've driven a car for 5 minutes total. Whereas I've probably racked up 100 hours in the truck games. And whilst it's obviously going to be drastically different, I think I could quite comfortably probably drive a car from point A to B. You know, it's obviously just going to be having to deal with traffic that would be the biggest thing to adjust to. So I think I'd be comfortable enough to actually try and drive, which is, that was the whole idea of getting started here. I was kind of terrified of the idea of it. Made me feel quite stressed. I gotta say, the lights on this truck aren't very good. It's really quite dark. We're full slamming the brakes and we still haven't stopped, jeez. Alright, we're good. So, as my experience of the sim games initially started with Assetto Corsa, that's what I was playing most when I was just getting going. I have picked up a bad habit of constantly left foot braking. Oh, go the fast. Okay, so in this truck I do have to shift to first gear. Usually I can get away with skipping to second or third. Oh no, I'm gonna... Jeez, I didn't see that red light. Alright, I'm sorry guys. We have made a mistake here, but we're good, we're good. Yeah, so... I had a really bad habit of left foot braking because I was either braking with my left foot while taking corners, or I'd be pretty much always having my left foot on the clutch, kind of like I do now. And I'd swap my left foot between the brake and the clutch rather than my right foot, which I think is a pretty bad habit to actually get started. So whilst I'm playing this game, I have been attempting to only use my right foot on the brake and the accelerator, but it is a bit hard to do, as I don't find it as comfortable. But in saying that, I go back to hopefully trying to drive in real life now, and I do worry a bit that I'm actually going to have a bit of trouble with actually just braking with my left foot automatically, as it's kind of locking it in my brain. So that's one thing I'm a little weary of. I think I'm going to have to try and unlearn that, because from what I understand, if you left foot brake while in a car, it's completely different and the brake will just slam on straight away. since the types of brakes in a normal car are drastically different from what you would find in a racing game, or even in the truck sim, as they're designed to be for a game rather than a realistic stopping power. So I am quite interested to see how that goes. Oh man, I can't see anything out here. We've got a hard turn coming up, I can see. I gotta get better at taking notice of the signs. I tend to look at the road a lot. Okay, we've got the high beam on, that's slightly better. Now, as it's gonna be 10:30 on our arrival, which means we're gonna have to park this trailer while it's very dark. And I am expecting the next depot to be out in the woods, so I think this could be quite difficult. We'll have to see. I'm not actually too sure what to expect. Hold on guys, I'm just gonna have a sip of my drink. Bit of light from civilization's nice there. Gonna have to shift down for sure. So this load is only 31,000 pounds, which it's it's a pretty heavy load in reality, but in terms of what you can take in this game, it's not very heavy. But we are struggling slightly with this ramp. We should be out of the... Yeah, there we go, that's better. We're good there. Shift down. This engine sounds really good when you hit the high RPMs, but as your RPMs get lower, it's a bit quiet to what I'm used to. It's nice sounding, but there we go. So I don't know if you guys have found this. I assume some of you have tried it, as it is a very popular truck, but that K100 I was using in one of the previous videos, I've actually removed it from my mod order now, as I was looking through my logs. I had a few things come up, and as I looked through the log, there was so many errors that were from that truck specifically, and it was all these errors that are coming from it's trying to load accessories that should come with the mod, but for some reason they're not in the files or something like that. And if you read the Steam comments, heaps of other people were having issues with it as well. And I noticed that someone had mentioned that it causes a memory leak, and I must admit, when I was really tweaking with all the settings, that was something that I found since I did that. The FPS has improved quite a lot, so I do actually can't help but wonder if that mod was causing some sort of issue whilst you were playing the game that was dropping frames, because I haven't particularly dropped any settings, and I mean I was getting frame drops into the 40s earlier, and it's just not happening now. I've got 99% FPS of 57, and we're sitting at 60 most of the time. So I think if any of you guys have that mod, it might be causing some issues. That was one by Overfloater on the Steam Workshop, which I believe Overfloater fixed another person's mod for that one. Oh, I thought that was gonna swap to red there. It's going too fast. Swap to 6. Oops. Gosh, some of these roads we've been driving on here are quite windy. Oh, taking up the curb. I tend to cut corners sometimes. I do wonder in real life how common that is for other truck drivers to do the same thing. So we're about 50 minutes from our destination now, which isn't too far away. I'm currently in fear of the state of what parking's going to be like, but hopefully it's an easy one. I'll give it a go. Where are we? Welcome to Oklahoma. Almost there. Now, as you've probably noticed, this truck is really struggling to hit the speed limit. Definitely not a powerful monster like that Kenworth I had built, but at the end of the day, with the way the weather is in game at the moment, it's probably not much of a bad thing. This is full throttle in 7th gear, we're well over the revs, and we're at 55, 56. It's alright. Maybe for these log loads we probably would have been a bit better off with 500, 550 horsepower. It's always interesting seeing the position of the street lights in these games, because in Australia at least, generally, even if you're behind traffic, you'll be able to see the light telling you to go, whereas a lot of the time the other traffic is blocking it, so you can't actually see it. It's always weird to me. It's actually quite a nice relaxing drive considering the weather. Pretty uneventful. I've got Daniel's random events turned to 30%. We didn't see any sort of ridiculousness there. Not sure which one of us was meant to go there, but he's gone through. Good there. Walgreens, couple motorbikes. Looks like a bunch of motorbikes parked outside a bar. I imagine it actually is a bar in the SCS version, but the real brands and billboards mod has likely changed it to a Walgreens, I'd say. Nice Coca-Cola factory or a truck there. Okay, so it does look like this depot is not too far out of the way, which means we might be in luck in terms of parking. We'll have to see. If you guys want to see more of these videos of driving and yapping along as we go, feel free to subscribe and comment. Anything, any sort of support is appreciated, even if it's just a like or a comment about how I'm doing. That'd be nice. Well, this is the first longer drive I've done in the Mack Superliner. I think, as a verdict, it is pretty good. It's definitely. Oh, wait, I'm just gonna have to turn on. I couldn't stop. It's alright. Oh god, I think that train's coming. It's a nice truck, it's just definitely a lot weaker than what I have been driving in the previous videos. The interior is really good, the truck itself looks really good. It's a nice classic clean truck without too many features. I think I am interested in driving the Mack Pinnacle. I need to pick an SCS truck that I actually like to use, because I don't actually own one in the game, and if the mods all break or something like that, as they will in an update, I think I am in a bit of trouble. I only have modded trucks. I have made sure my fleet only has vanilla trucks on the other hand, so that shouldn't be an issue, but I should probably pick one for myself. What's that? That's the easiest park ever. Surely not. It's gotta be a trick. Okay. I say that, but I do have to actually get in here. What we'll do is put our hazards on. We'll do a little bit of a reverse, and I will take a big wide sweep to come in, as I'm not going to be able to make this turn, I don't think. We stall. There we go. That's better. That way, if anyone else is coming to the yard, they'll be able to see what we're doing. And we might just be able to go right in there and be good. Yeah, there we go. So we're gonna park, turn the hazards off, and then trailer. There we go. Excellent. So that was an extremely low paying job. It probably wasn't even worth doing in reality. But me, it was about $25 a mile. However, I hadn't taken any logs before and I did like the look of them. I think the SCS trailer itself is a bit small. That's the only thing. So I think next time I take some logs, I'm gonna look for one of the modded trailers, maybe get a double trailer. That's one thing I haven't covered in a video yet, is getting a double trailer. Though I have no idea how to park those, that's ridiculous. I'm not even sure you're meant to be honest. So to finish the video up here, we're just gonna take one last look at the truck. I did go with a black, a yellow and red paint job, and it was just one of the default paint jobs that come with the truck. We just stuck some lights on the roof and went simple with everything else. We got no filters, just a bull bar, since that's what you'd see in Australia. I quite like that. Got some mud flaps in the front, mud flaps in the back, and a slightly longer axle. And I think overall it looks pretty good, quite a bit different to my usual trucks. So thanks again for watching guys, see you next time.